I voted today on two pieces of legislation that provide funding for the federal government for the coming year. I did that because there are a number of things in both the provisions I agree with, but given the fact that we have divided government, with Democrats controlling the House and Republicans the Senate, it means there are things in the legislation that I don't like. There are a number of provisions that I wish we could strike out of there, but of course the Democrats feel the same way. The two pieces of legislation were negotiated by members of both houses and Republicans and Democrats in the appropriations committees. And overall, I think the legislation is good for Utah. Let me describe a couple of things that I like about it. I like the fact that for Hill Air Force Base, there's funding for 98 new F-35s and also funding for our ground-based strategic defense system. That's going to create ultimately some 500 new jobs. I like the fact that we're no longer going to allow kids to buy vaping products. You have to be 21 years old to be able to buy vaping products in the future. We also repealed the medical device tax. We got a lot of companies in Utah that make medical devices. They were really concerned about this huge tax that was being levied on them because of Obamacare. We get rid of it. We also reauthorized payment in lieu of taxes. Our more rural communities get payments from the federal government to carry out wildfire policing and rescue operations. And these PILT, or payment in lieu of taxes, provisions are now reauthorized. Likewise, funding for secure rural schools. That program is also going to be extended and authorized. $2.25 billion is being appropriated to fight wildfires and to prevent wildfires. This is, in my view, a good start, not as far as I'd like to go. And let me also note that we got funding to provide for our E-Verify system, which makes it more difficult for people to come to our country illegally and find work here. Now, I could also give you a list of things I don't like, but the big number that I also think is a positive for us is that there's a substantial increase in our defense spending. We've allowed our defense system to become weakened as a result of several years of President Obama being in office. We face real competition from China, from Russia, and others, and we need to make a bigger investment to get ourselves back on track. For those like me that are really concerned about a bigger topic, which is what is happening to our deficit and our national debt, let me just show you a very simple chart, which I guess I didn't even need to create a chart to show you this simplistic idea. But what we voted on today was the blue portion, the federal budget. That's the only part we vote on. The other part here, we don't vote on that because it's automatic spending, non-discretionary spending. It happens without a vote. And that's Medicare, Social Security, Medicaid, the Highway Trust Fund, and so forth. And so this is the area, the part that we don't vote on, that's growing faster than our economy. And the part that we do vote on is not growing as fast as our economy. So while there's excess here that I wish we could cut out, the real problem, if we want to deal with the deficit, has to be in the 2/3. We're not going to balance the budget of the entire federal government on simply the spending on 1/3. And that's the reason that I've introduced something known as the Trust Act, which is to save the trust funds, Medicare, Medicaid, Social Security, Highway Trust Fund, to save those, make sure that a bipartisan bill is reached to rein in the excesses there and finally have balance there and preserve those funds, not just for the next decade, but for the next 75 years. So that's where we stand with regards to money. I'm always interested in hearing your perspectives. Give us a call or write if you've got some answers you think I should take and fight for. All the best. Merry Christmas.